what an intriguing story she's telling here. Hello everyone, welcome to the channel, welcome back to the video village. Today I'm taking a look at WREN'S video. It's called Typical of Me. And a lot of people actually pinged me to go check this out. Lolli is a fellow reactor. She does a lot of vocal reaction. She's a singer. From what I've heard, it's a really good video. So I wanted to go take a look and kind of dig into what she did here and why people are digging it so much, which I'm not surprised because I've seen some of her previous videos, which have been really, really visually stunning. So I haven't really been able to get to any of her other videos yet, but I thought it would be a good time to jump in. So, in case you're new here, my name is Manon the Reeper. I'm a filmmaker, and here on the channel I do sort of deep dives into music video filmmaking and kind of talk about, how people make the videos look as good as they do and what all goes into making a good video. So with that, I think people get a lot more appreciation for the hard work that goes on behind the camera as well. Usually it's a village coming together to make these music videos. So yes, I got a release coming up soon. In a couple weeks, I am dropping a new short film, so keep your eyes peeled for that. I'm not gonna say a whole lot more, but sometime in January, you will see something very exciting coming out. I'll be gradually teasing a little bit more, but yes, I have a lot of fun stuff planned for the new year. But before I take up too much of your time, let's get into WREN'S video.
Rosy cheeks burning up, oh this light does you no favors but a cup. Just leave it all to me. How you look at me, I know you'll be mine forever, aren't you sweet? Can't even bear to blink. Fascination in the first degree. Likely I'm starring in your dreams, and if you wanted to leave, then you'd already be gone. It's clear to see, baby. Wouldn't that be typical of me? Baby blue, you'd look right at home in heaven, wouldn't you? An angel through and through. Ooh, I'm a creep. Well, wouldn't that be typical of me, baby? Fascination in the first degree. Likely I'm starring in your dreams, and if you wanted to leave, then you'd already be gone. It's clear to see, baby. Wouldn't that be typical of me? Of me. Of me.
That perfume you got me is running out.
Hmm?
The perfume you got me is running out.
There you go.
So blasé about the little things.
And you're obsessed with them.
Beautiful. Okay, we're about halfway through. This is such a long video, so I'm gonna break it up. What an intriguing, beautiful story she's telling here. I'm so surprised. I mean, I'm not surprised, but also I'm surprised at some of the filmmaking techniques and stuff that I'm seeing here as well, and just how many locations we're seeing. The costumes just look so fabulous. Yeah, they spent a lot of time and really a lot of eye for detail, and probably also quite a bit of money on this, because this doesn't look like it was cheaply made, that's for sure. It's a pretty big production. Very, very, very impressive. So let's take a look a little bit without getting too technical about things. First of all, I wanted to point out that we have this really interesting, I don't think it's even 4/3, it's square. It's such an interesting choice to make use of only such a small part of the screen. I'm talking about the aspect ratio, by the way. So it looks like this is a square. And that's all they used. They must have had a lot more, but they chose to go for a square aspect ratio. Very interesting choice. And it looks like we are sort of in 3 timelines, I think. So we have the modern day, which I think is this version of Lolli, where she's singing to herself in the mirror. It feels like this is a past, and I don't quite know what that indicates. Is the guy gonna die? Are they gonna split? Doesn't look like they're in a very happy relationship, so I'm not quite sure what's gonna happen yet, but that's the vibe that I'm getting. Then we have the past, so to speak. Also, I love this shot. It's so beautiful. I love the bokeh in the background here. We have some really, really great use of, I don't know if they used analog lenses, maybe, like older lenses to get a look that is quite this vintage. I'm not talking what we're seeing in front of the camera. I'm really talking about the actual look of the camera, the lens itself, because it's looking really, it's really looking quite vintage. And I also thought that was an interesting contrast with this, which looks a lot more modern. So it's possible that they used a lens. This is so much more crisp, right? So it's possible that they might have also used a different camera for those older shots as well. I wouldn't be surprised if they played with something like that. Or normally I'm like, oh, they have really made it look older in post. But from all of these shots, for example, too, you can kind of tell that they were playing with camera stuff and lenses specifically. Like these shots, these are in the most distant past, I think, narratively, where we're seeing the flashbacks, the memories to a happier time in their relationship. And here we're seeing something that's kind of reminiscent of what a lot of the old Russian lenses do, is that they create a very circular sort of effect. Either way, if you're more of a DP than I am, in the comments, let me know what you think. But it's very, very possible. It's really beautiful to see how they played with this. I think it must be analog lenses, by the way. I think that it's something like that. You can also see from shot like these, it just looks really soft, and I doubt that it's something that you could achieve in editing quite so well with like a very, very high res 8K camera. So it's I would love to know a little bit more about their production. Maybe I need to talk with Lolli. Do you think that she might be interested? Maybe she can tell us a little bit about the whole production and everything that went into this, because wow. So we have this beautiful moment where they're out on the porch. The lighting everywhere is just really gorgeous, and then we actually go inside and they're in their bedroom, and Oh, I love this dog. I hadn't seen the dog before. That's so cute. And here they're at a dinner and I'm just getting this really muted vibe from her. She's acting really great, by the way. I absolutely love that. Generally, like everything except the candles is very cool toned. It's very, it's dark. Everything is feeling a little depressive. So it's really painting that image really well of her as being really unhappy. Same for here, like these shots are so beautifully lit. It's really well done, guys. And then all these moments between her and this guy who clearly doesn't care much about her at all. And she's just very, submissive to him. And then every time we see this really happy, flashbacks, that's something I wanted to talk about because now it's not moving. But the moving is actually really, really important because that's something I wanted to talk about. So let's take a look.
I'm starring in your dreams, and if you...
So, as you can see in those flashbacks, we have a sort of jittery movement, which is such an interesting choice again. And that is a technique that was originally popularized by Wong Kar-wai. It's called step printing. And you play with the frames per second, so the frame rate, and your shutter speed. And by setting it to a certain, setting relative to each other, the motion blur, which we're used to seeing as very smooth, which is what you see here, right? Like it is on my camera set to the same way as you would perceive it with your eyeballs. Now, our eyes have a certain setting, but cameras you can play with is set it to a different setting. Like sometimes you will see something that has like a haze to the motion blur. In this, it ramps that up to the end level where it becomes like jittery. It's like that's why they call it printing, because it feels like every step is a print. It's really interesting. It's really fun. I think they must have done that on set as well. So it must have been there must have been some very experienced or well-read filmmakers involved who came up with this stuff. And I think it's such a cool way to really separate those flashbacks from the rest of the video, because we are, in 3 separate timelines in this, and there's no dialogue. So it's really hard to translate that and really separate them and make it clear that we're dealing with separate timelines. So very, very, very cool. It's funny because comparatively with how much is going on in all of these other shots, this one is so relatively static and like relatively, I wouldn't say uninteresting, but there's just not much going on other than her singing. And I wonder why they chose to have her sing into a mirror rather than at the camera. That would be one of the questions that I would ask of her. It's like, what was the choice for that? Obviously, you can have a little bit more in the frame, like she has this little picture frame here, but I'd be curious. All these beautiful moments, and then there's this segment where they actually break the music, and we see a little bit of the story, and we actually hear dialogue, and I love it when they do that, because we're already so immersed in this video, and then we actually get to hear her speaking. We hear this guy who has like a French accent, so that's really fun. And it's such an interesting moment. It's such and this was kind of heartbreaking. It's like he just tosses the money on a table, I think, which is out of the frame here. And then the music resumes, and we go to this party where Lolli is, and she's kind of watching the guy with a different woman. That's this moment, and I thought it was so interesting that here they do the same step printing sort of effect as well. Although that feels more like slowing down 30 frames per second to like half of that without having shot more frames. That is I understand that if you don't know how this stuff works, that's very technical. But usually, like when we shoot for slow motion, we shoot at 60 frames per second, so that when we slow it down, by half, for example, we still have enough to fill the 30 frames. I'm realizing how technical it sounds, but just trust me, it's like when you've shot at 30 FPS, you have it to 15 frames per second, it's going to look more aesthetic, and that's sort of what that felt like. Maybe that's what they did. It's always a little bit of a debate for me. Sometimes it does look like the step printing, sometimes it just looks like bad slow-mo. Although if you do that intentionally, it's not bad. But yeah. Either way, I think this is, yes, where I paused it. Let's keep watching because this is beautiful.
Don't go, you know that I can stay right here until you love me. I can be perfect just the way you want me. My heart is made of clay, just shape it in whatever way you want to make this go away. Invalidate the vows we made. I can't breathe, help me, I might go too far. Wouldn't that be typical of me? Wouldn't that be typical of me, baby? Fascination in the first degree, like me. I'm starring in your dreams, and if you wanted to leave, then you'd already begun. It's clear to see, baby. Wouldn't that be typical of me? Wouldn't that be typical of me?
Oh, there's more. Oh, I paused it too soon. Okay, let's. Wait, let me just give you my initial reaction. That was amazing. I loved it when she started screaming. That was so cool. What a beautiful crescendo to the entire thing. And, I thought he was going to be dying. That's really cool. Okay, let's watch the last bit. Oh, it's the credits. It's just the credits. That makes sense. Okay, great. So she probably filmed it in Spain based on the names. And so his accent must have been Spanish, not French. What a great job. Wow. I'm just absolutely blown away. Remember I was saying about the bad slow-mo? I think that segment specifically, they made it sort of like weird and jarring, and it was different because the other stuff really is the step printing that I mentioned before, because we do see a weird motion blur. And that bit is really to sort of show how she is almost like making her decision or something. Like that's the moment that everything just sort of breaks down for her mentally when she finally sees him like with this other woman. And that immediately leads to that fantastic segment here in the bedroom in red. This to me felt very Dario Argento to me, who you'll probably know from like Italian horror films like Suspiria, and that's probably the most famous example. But it's that really, really saturated lighting here, the red, and it basically is showing her killing him. And I thought it was really, really well done and such a cool way, instead of going for like traditional, like, oh, stabbing or slashing his throat or something quite so dramatic. They just went for the lighting. And it really is a very artful and creative way of showing violence without showing the actual violence. So well done. And then, yes, there's the breakdown in the music that I absolutely loved. I thought it was so cool. I would have loved to see her actually like rock out a little bit more during that, I guess, during this sequence. But she made the choice, probably she was one of the co-directors, so she made, the choice to not do that there. But yeah, what a great moment to pause it. But this is so great. I absolutely loved it. There was so much going on emotionally in both the video and the song, and then she sort of reveals the weapon that she killed him with his ties, and she puts it away, and she walks out here. I was like, everything looks so European, so I already figured like it had to be not shot in either, UK or US or whatever. It all looks very Mediterranean. But this is also a beautiful shot. I love how she walks into focus here. Yeah, great stuff. Absolutely love this. And then she, the red and blue lights is like, oh, the police is here. And again, it's like, it's such a creative way of showing what's happening without having to rent like a police car and all that kind of stuff, or have yet another actor come up and be like, oh, hello, this is the police. Really well done. Absolutely love this moment. So yeah, well done. Absolutely adore this. Great work. Of course, so many people involved. Beautiful work here. Oh, she did the styling herself as well. Well done. Because that looked like great costumes. What a wonderful video. Well, thank you for urging me to take a look at that, everyone, because that was really, really quite exceptional. I'd love to talk with Lolli about that video sometime, and I see actually in the cards that there's a behind the scenes, so I'm gonna watch that after I'm done filming. But this was delightful. Oh, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Let me know if there's anything I missed, because there was so much going on, both like technically as well as visually, narratively. Just, yeah, a lot to take in, especially for me on a first watch. So yes, let me know if you think I missed anything. Meanwhile, stay tuned for my short film that's coming in a couple weeks. Keep your eye out for that one. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed this, and if you like Lolli Wren and want me to maybe look at more of her videos, or maybe we should have a chat with her. I don't know. Either way, let me know in the comments. You can find me on Patreon, get a little sneak preview of that short film that's coming, and see more of my other work, read some of my work. Also, if you enjoyed this video, you can buy me a coffee on Ko-fi, which I'd appreciate. Stay warm, enjoy the holiday season, and I will see you for the next one. Peace.